What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 85 of the Offshore Gamescast. Today is going to be a pretty exciting episode as me, Dave, joined by you,
Dylan. It sounded like you were addressing the audience. It was like Blue's Clues, you know.
They're joined along too. We just got a letter. We just got a letter.
Oh God,
Blue's
Clues is gonna come for us. They're gonna copyright strike us
to the murder school, and like that's so. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Today we'll be reviewing Hogwarts Legacy.
You were supposed to pause and let the audience answer, like, "How you guys doing?" Good. And today we're full on Blue's Clues. Oh God, Steve lost his mind.
Is anyone gonna answer me? Okay. Oh God. How's everyone doing? Today we're reviewing Hogwarts Legacy. I'm very excited to get into it. I've spent the last week writing 11 pages for this doc.
Yeah, we if you missed last week, you're probably a little confused about what's going on here. So, New format to the show. They are now focused. Each episode's focused on one game at a time, deep dive review. Let me tell you, based on what I've seen from Dave's work, this is going to be quite a deep dive into all of the systems of Hogwarts Legacy, because there's a lot.
There's a lot.
And if you've listened the last few weeks, you know Lyle from Lyle's Indie Corner. She is a permanent member of the team. She is not here today. She's sitting this one out, but she is part of the crew now, so she'll be back next week. So we got a little schedule. Today's Hogwarts Legacy. Last week was Hi-Fi Rush. You can go check that out. Next week will be Blanc. Then March 7th, Like a Dragon Ishin, and March 14th, Atomic Heart. So mark your calendars. Go into your phones right now. Set alerts. 5 a.m. EST.
I have to set other alerts because I have to be there prior.
So listen. We got this new format going. All sorts of exciting stuff. If you enjoy it, the best thing you can do for us is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you may be. Leave us a review, a rating. It helps a lot, more than you would think. So if you enjoy anything, please do that for us. Also, if you prefer video, you can see our beautiful faces and some gameplay footage on our YouTube channel. Go check that out. It's really just going to be me exploring Hogwarts for some gameplay, because we didn't want to show anything spoilery. But you can see what that's like. You see the labyrinth of Hogwarts. We're almost done. I promise.
Speaking of which,
Legacy soon.
This episode is going to be pretty much spoiler free for the most part.
Yeah. We have a new shirt up. offshoregamescast.com/merch. It is a charity shirt. All the proceeds, 100% of it, goes to the National Center for Transgender Equality. Go do that if you want to somehow monetarily support the show. That is probably the best way to do it right now. 100% of the proceeds go to charity. And out as of yesterday, we did a little collab with the Video Game Club. Head over to their podcast. Give it a listen. It's a really cool thing they're doing in between their normal episodes. They're interviewing people from other gaming podcasts. It made me feel a little special, like I was being interviewed. That was cool.
It was an extremely good time.
Yeah.
I did not expect to have as much fun as I did.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So go check that out. Check out their show. It's a great show. It's like a book club, but video games. So do that. All right, Dave, Hogwarts Legacy. Why don't you kick us off here?
Okie dokie. So I don't know if anyone else has done this before. I've made definitely a big mistake by assuming for some reason that the Hogwarts Legacy developer is the Just Cause developer. Apparently, there's just a bunch of Avalanche games studios, whatever, out there.
I think it's fair, because when it comes to Just Cause, everyone just called them Avalanche. Like, it was never...
Yeah.
You know?
At least at first. Maybe I'm just an idiot and I didn't get to look too far into it, but this game's been developed by Avalanche Software, being published by Warner Brothers Games, who is their big This is Harry Potter's the big thing for them again. If you were able to get the digital deluxe edition, the game was out on February 7th, full release on February 10th of 2023. Unfortunately, if you have last consoles, those are not going to be available until April 4th, and Switch gets the boot on July 25th. And
I
if
don't
anything,
know. I don't
that's
know about this
I,
on Switch.
I don't know either, but like, if anything, if I were to buy a second copy, it would be on the Switch. Like, this is one of those, like, I really wouldn't use the Switch for anything else. This is what I would use the Switch for.
Yeah, I don't know about this game on Switch.
I don't think
I
it's
don't
going to
know.
run good, but
No.
hypothetically, if it were to run good, then yes.
We'll see about that in a couple months.
So, before we get too deep, even into the beginning of this review, I just wanted to let everyone know that given everything that's going on right now, we, as who we are, even just personally, we do not support or condone anything that has been said or any of the thoughts or comments of J.K. Rowling herself. It's fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. That's not why we're here. The whole point of this is to go over this game. Basically, this is what we've dreamt of as kids. When I went to go see the first movie, this is just the thought of being able to walk around this universe, this castle, have a wand in my hand. I'm surrounded by wands right now. I'm so addicted to just this form of this universe, this storytelling, and this will only solely be based off of this game and how well it is a game. That's why we're here, and luckily enough, I had a fantastic time, and there is a lot to go over.
Yeah, there's
so
a lot.
With that being said,
there's a lot.
Please enjoy this review of Hogwarts Legacy. Moving on to page 2.
Oh god, are you gonna do that every time? Like an audiobook.
If you guys really want to know, I did print out a physical copy. So moving on to page 2.
Oh my god, you're like a teacher.
I'm going to be watching over everyone's shoulders.
Are you taking notes?
So I kind of split this into a whole bunch of different categories and even then subcategories. And there's just so much to this game. But the overall narrative is you are starting off as a new 5th-year student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And throughout your time of being brought in, you have so many other little activities that are going on. You're being pulled in many different directions. There are goblin kind wielding dark magic and dark wizards working together, creating just havoc among all of wizard kind, all these towns, and you get sucked up into that. You are traveling with little Professor Fig, magical theory professor for the school, and on your way there, things go crazy.
Yeah, it's actually quite an intro cinematic. Like not what I was expecting.
I loved it.
It was good. Yeah.
The way they introduced the Thestrals in the way that they did, I lost it. Like, that was nuts.
Yeah, that so just to clarify, I did not exactly grow up with Harry Potter. I didn't even really watch all the movies until maybe a year or two ago. So
we got a little Hobbit boy over here.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have that huge connection to it, but my girlfriend does, and she had the same reaction to that.
It really just is something, because it's like, especially once you know, and if you do feel that sort of loss, or you've seen that loss and just the symbolism behind that creature, just seeing that is just like, oh my god, that's so cool. But you just so happen to be heading to Gringotts one day, and things end up heading very south, and you somehow get just swiped up into this massive conspiracy war that's going on.
You're just kind of a kid who's like, I just want to start. I'm already behind at Hogwarts because I'm starting as a 5th year, and
you're 15 years old, and you're kind of like, all right, let's go save the world.
Yeah,
but you know what? That's fine, because it turns out you just so happen to be able to see and sense this presence of ancient magic that just can't be wielded by anyone else, and very select few can. And throughout your journeys, you have to hone your magic and fight bad guys and
Blue
eat
swirlies.
so many apples.
You can
Eat
eat a lot of
so
apples.
many apples.
Yeah, you can eat a lot of apples.
The amount of times I just ran inside of a room and accidentally just sipped an entire cup of tea and then ran to go do something else and ate an apple.
Yeah,
Then I left.
I do that sometimes, especially because I see the prompt come up like, oh, is this an item or a treasure chest or something? Just nope, apple.
Yep.
Nope, it's tea.
But you're still running. You can book it and you're just like,
yeah.
Yep. Delicious. The moving into some of these systems, one of the coolest things that this game has to offer from the get-go is the fact that this is your wizard journey. You have a full customer character stage.
Oh
Hello,
god, no customers.
No.
Please.
You have an entire character customization.
Oh, that sounds way better. Thank God.
Oh, no problem. We're at other work right now.
Yeah.
So while it may not be as in depth as some other very big RPGs, you get a pretty good amount of different versions of looks that you can make. It's different head shapes. You have different like eye colors, eyebrows. You can change hairstyles, hair color, even to some like really bright, crazy ones. I mean, it's magic. Who really cares? Even down to like your scars, freckles, complexion, and the different pitch of your voice. You can change the pitch of your voice. So not only do you have the male and the female voice, you can be like, "Oh, I'm a wizard," or you could be, "Oh, I'm a wizard," and that's what you could be. And a few things in between.
I am not happy with how my character sounds.
I was told that I chose the most Daniel Radcliffe sounding voice.
I think we must have the same voice because I also sound just like Daniel Radcliffe. But the thing
it's
that
not
bothers
too
me,
deep, but it's not too high, and it's just like, yeah, I kind of see it.
I don't know if you have this issue. I don't know because you're playing on Xbox, right? Because I've been playing on PlayStation.
Are you using headphones while you play?
I have, but typically not.
Because I have an issue where only when my character speaks am I hearing like an echo.
Yes. Okay. We do have the same voice. It sounds like someone took Daniel Radcliffe, plugged him into a guitar speaker, and turned the distortion up a little bit. And that's what your voice sounds like. And oh my god, it bothers me so much when I'm talking because all I hear is this guitar amp voice.
He sounds kind of like a robot a little bit.
Yes, it is. Oh my.
Because I'll be talking to a person and they sound fine, and I'm wearing just earbuds. Like I have earbuds connected to my controller, and out of no, I've gone into the settings. I've changed it from stereo to mono. I've changed it from I have it set to headphones with my headphones in, and I change it to TV speakers with my headphones in. Nothing. It just sounds like a robot.
It's a game issue. It's not a your sound settings issue because I've worn headphones and I have had it come out of like the TV or the sound bar, and yeah, it just sounds like that.
At least it's not nearly as noticeable for me from the TV, but from the headphones, it's like constant to the point where I will just take one earbud out because it lessens it. And it kind of sounds like it's just coming from one side because it sounds like it's doing a stereo in one. You're getting the left side and the right side, but at the same time in the middle.
Yeah, it makes an effect that is very at least for me, it's very distracting.
Yeah. Well, we're both robot Daniel Radcliffes.
Yeah, apparently.
But you know what? It's fine. At least I feel like when they talk, there's enough differences. At least later in the game, I found myself able to separate the hearing Daniel Radcliffe at first.
I think I've also separated from the Daniel Radcliffe a little bit, but not the robot.
No, I don't like the robot. It's like the 1880s. I don't know what's going on there.
There should be no robots.
When it comes to the character customization, if you have done your Pottermore quizzes and synced your accounts with your WB accounts, one of the coolest things this game has to offer is when it comes to basically the two big things, getting sorted into your house and what wand you're getting. Those will be automatically like translated over into the game for you. To which I don't remember getting asked any questions during my sorting ceremony. I feel like it just kind of went through the beat of just kind of saying what it would say for a Hufflepuff. To which, of course, I'm a Hufflepuff.
I am also a Hufflepuff.
Hey, Hufflepuff.
Yeah,
Hufflepuff.
this is the Hufflepuff podcast.
Love it.
But I did the same thing, and yeah, that's it. I mean, it does let you choose in game still if you want to.
If you want to.
If you want, like, yeah, you got tested as a Hufflepuff, but you really just want to be a Ravenclaw instead. You can.
I started a second character already, and to which I just skipped all the cutscenes and got to the sorting hat, and to which it just went through the whole thing again for a Hufflepuff, and I just said, nope, I want to be a Ravenclaw. And it's like, okay.
So is that just a side character, or is that your main one?
No, this is going to be... my main one is my Hufflepuff.
Okay.
I'm going to have a playthrough of every house, because I plan on getting all the achievements. And you have to play as each house to a certain point in the game.
Okay.
So, for me personally, besides having that, you also get, like, the details of your wand as well. And so, I have, like, my unicorn hair core, 13 3/4 inches pliant, flexibility, and whatnot. That all comes to a later point when you go to Hogsmeade and whatnot, but the big thing is your house sorting. And then throughout the game, you'll have a whole bunch of different, like, it's a loot based game. You'll get a lot of different stats for you'll get a lot of different stats for your, like, actual gear and appearances. And just like some of the other games, the more recent Assassin's Creed games have been doing this, is their Transmog System, which it's so nice. You have whatever gear level you want. You get something else and it looks cool, but it's like 20 levels below of, like, damage. But you keep the higher one, but you can just... As soon as you get that item in your inventory, it, like, takes the blueprint for what it looks like and then just throws it in there, and you can just have whatever you're wearing look like that whenever you want, no matter what you get.
Yeah, that's the Transmog System is very good. And even, like, if you sell your stuff, which you should, if you're not wearing it, sell it. So it'll just take up inventory space, and then as long as you have had the item at some point, you can make it look like that. You don't have to actually have it in your inventory.
Whenever you want.
So I do this thing, and this was also my girlfriend's idea because she's playing, but I use that to... I
heard about this.
Yeah, I told you about this, to really get into just the role playing of it. So when I'm at Hogwarts and in class and at the school, I'm in, like, my Hufflepuff robe with, like, the yellow tie underneath and all that. Like, I'm very Hufflepuff, the Hufflepuff scarf. And once I'm out in the world outside of Hogwarts, I wear, like, a cool cape with a really cool outfit, like an adventurer's outfit that feels... Once you start doing that, it's hard to stop, because then you feel out of place when all the other students are in, like, their school gear, and you're just like, yeah, I'm a badass knight.
Yeah, so I get it.
I like that role playing aspect.
If it wasn't so much effort.
Yeah, like, I'm not doing it, like, if I'm just fast traveling to Hogsmeade to sell shit, I'm not doing it for that. But once like, you know, your two outfits, and it's just quick with, like, with Square Transmog, and you can get there real quick. I like it.
I'm a transfer student. No one knows me. I'm just a badass. That's just what I am. I walk around with this dope ass long jacket with these massive buttons, and I have this, like, real nice suit on underneath. And I'm walking around with these, like, basically sunglasses, and I'm just, like, chilling. And I'm just like, "Sup? What? Yeah."
You sound more like a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kill anybody. I'll kill some kids.
We've heard about that.
And I haven't done it yet.
Wow, look at
but
you.
But soon.
I didn't think it was However, did you do it?
All right. Main story. Side quest, main quests, main quests. There's more than one thing you can do. There's a lot. So
you said main quest like 5 times.
How wonderful.
So one aspect of the main quest is that some of your main quests will be just classes that you'll be going to. So you'll be going to Beast's class as a main quest. You'll be going to Flight class as a that one might be a side quest, but okay, that's a main quest.
No, it's definitely a main quest.
Yeah. Main quest.
Wow.
Classes. Side quest.
What is happening right now?
You said I was saying it too much, so I made sure to say it as much as possible. So you'll be going to classes. You got Beast class, you got Transfiguration, Potions, Herbology. You have like all the normal things. It's not like, for some reason, when I thought that this game was coming out and it would be sort of like that, I'm like, is this going to be like Bully? Like, do we have to get there or like whatnot? But it's basically just like, all right, you just have to go. Like, that's just your quest. You know, you go there, you do it.
I also thought that where it's like, oh, you have to be in this class by this time of day. No, yeah, it's just, you just go whenever the quest tells you to.
Like, the funny thing is that part of the narrative goes with some of the professors saying that, like, oh, that new fifth year student and Professor Fig really are away from the school a lot. But I'm like over here for like 2 weeks straight, and then I show up to Potions class with everyone else who's supposed to show up to Potions class, and I'm just like, what? And then I brew a perfect potion, and then I'm like, later, and I peace out, and I'm gone for 2 more weeks.
Yeah,
I
get real special treatment at Hogwarts.
Oh God, you get so many things. It's ridiculous. As you proceed more so throughout the main story, you'll come across these trials that you'll have to do. These are kind of like the in-betweens, like the act changer missions, to which after every trial, it'll actually change seasons. And God, the world looks beautiful in every season. You start off in like a good old spring, then once you finish the first trial, you're in fall, then you're moving on to winter. Like it's really cool to see. As you're going through, you're finding out that a long time ago there was a group of wizards who were headmistress and professors at Hogwarts and went to this small village and did their best to sort of fix it up, transfigure it, replenish it. And one of the people who was there as a kid was this witch called Isadora Morganach. As she grew older, she ended up going to Hogwarts as a fifth year, and it just so happened that you, her, and one of these keepers who also joined Hogwarts as a fifth year all have this ability to sense and wield ancient magic.
I wonder if there's a connection.
I wonder. This is where you got your like basic good, bad, whatever. You see like, all right, here's 3 people that can wield ancient magic. The professor, this new kid, and then you in the future. Professor, he's like, we should use this never. And she's like, oh, I might be able to figure out how to like use this. But like, I'm not going to sit here and figure out the consequences. But like, I'm going to do this. And he's like, no. And then so you're kind of like the mediator. It's like, all right, this is what the game is. What are you going to do? Are you going to be bad? Are you going to be good? Are you not going to use it? Are you like, what are you going to do? That's what this game is. But it's good. I don't want to go into like too many spoilers because there's just, even the story, there's so much detail. But I like how they did it and what about it. I beat the game, by the way. I know I didn't mention this beforehand.
I haven't. I'm not even close.
I was up till 4 a.m. last night because I only had so many main quests left.
Oh, wow.
And then, well, I finished it at like a certain point, and then I was like, well, I just want to explore now and do some other stuff. Technically, there's one more post-game main quest, whatever, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Going off of the fact that this is a big RPG, there are systems in the game such as dialogue, conversation systems. The only real disappointment is this is one of those games where they're like, oh, choices matter. The things you do have consequences. Not this game, really. You have one big choice at the
Yeah.
end. You have some other choices during some like quest lines and stuff that even so don't really matter. It's pretty much how do you want to role play? Do you want to be really nice or do you want to be kind of a dick? Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it
Um,
I don't think I've really had to make any big decisions yet, but that's kind of the vibe I got.
yeah, and to which even for some of these big choices, if if say you were to do something to get a reward and you were to like go and pick like a story beat that you wouldn't get that reward, you can still get the reward later. Like it's not really gonna gatekeep in that
Right.
way. But I wish they could have done more. Like there's enough there's a good amount of interaction. I think they did really well with some of the especially the animations, the facial animations. They might overact a bit too much, but like they're pretty fluid in more cases than not.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
Mhm.
that those look pretty good.
They have I mean some more characters that are used more often definitely have more work put into them and hold off
Yeah.
some of that. But like compared to some other games, they have more going on in different spots instead of just mouth and eyes.
Yeah. I guess that
After, yeah,
I guess we're kind of on the subject, so I do want to say I do have a decent amount of like pop in that happens when I'm
yeah,
exploring, and when I'm exploring quick, like really zooming around.
it's a big game. There's a lot to cover, and even with some of their ways of trying to handle that, which I think are stupid. Like one of the stupid things is you can't fly into Hogsmeade at all.
No, you can't.
Like almost not even anywhere near it. There's a huge barrier. And there's no reason to why. Maybe there is like a lore reason that they haven't told us that's sort of like a because that would be annoying. Like, you know, even something like that. Like but it's annoying that
Yeah.
you can't because it's like yeah, we get it cuz of lore, but at the end of the day it's a video game. Just let me fucking land, you know.
One of the it's really it's a minor annoyance. It doesn't really affect the game too much, but it it's one of those like slightly annoying things that I wish wasn't there because I just want to like when I'm going somewhere, I want to go there. The
Yeah.
going you it's usually when like you're going in or out of Hogwarts. Sometimes you get to the door and it won't just open, and instead you see like the little load circle for a couple of
Yeah.
seconds, and then the door opens. I get it's a big game and there's probably a lot to load when that's happening, but I just wish it didn't. it's a it
Yeah.
it doesn't actually hurt anything. It's just like a minor inconvenience that I don't like it. I'm impatient.
I get you. I the first time I saw that, I had no idea what this was. I thought it was a prompt. I was like, what am I waiting? Am I supposed to do something here? And then all of a sudden, like a second passed and the door open. I was like, okay. And I hopped in my broom and I flew away. And I was like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it happened some more. I was like, oh, it's taking its time.
yeah, it's not egregious or anything. It's not every door. It's really just like going in or out of the main castle and the outside world. Which
Mhm.
honestly, most of the time you're probably fast traveling out of there anyway.
I do a good like you do a good amount of both. Like especially if you're just only traveling so far, or it's like you're going there for the first time. But especially if you're doing something fast, like I'm fast traveling, like I'm just doing a quest real quick, boom, boom. But it's like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go and do some collectibles. I'm just gonna go explore. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna take my time with some of this stuff at least. After some of the big stuff, we have some of the smaller things, the side quests. There are I kind of bunched it in here. There are specialty quests. So when when the news came out about this game, I assumed that each house would have its own like set of side quests and like be different in like do some things different. It turns out that the only real thing that differs is one specific mission that begins a quest line like early on in the game So while you're going through with for Richard Jackdaw, there's this ghost and you're doing this little story or whatever. The only thing that differs for each house is how that mission sort of starts, like the first mission. So, like, for example, Emily was playing as a Slytherin. She went with Scrope, who is Headmaster Black's house elf, and went to go find a piece of paper and blah, 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 to do something else. Hufflepuff's over here, on the other hand. We got to go to Azkaban.
Yeah, that
And
was
we
like
are the only ones.
I knew that was a thing. So I was happy about that, but I was surprised that it was tied into the main story in that way. I thought it was gonna be like its own separate whole side quest thing.
Right? Like here's a student that you meet. You're a Ravenclaw. Your students, your classmates also a Ravenclaw. He gives you a quest that you can only do as a Ravenclaw, like sort of thing. That's what I was expecting. Not like,
Yeah.
here's your one difference. That's it, and it's still pretty much the same.
I do know that there are the different houses do have a different amount of side quests that comes with it. I think Ravenclaw's the least.
Yeah.
Which, sorry, Ravenclaws.
Obviously, Gryffindor, Slytherin's the most. Hufflepuff's whatever, like, still having a great time.
That's us. We're whatever. Yeah.
We're loyal.
We're whatever.
We're just happy to be here. Aside from those, there are also companion quests. Now, these are not necessarily like you can have a companion with you at all times, but you will go down, you will meet students going through each of the houses, and you'll be going off a long little quest line with them. You got Sebastian in Slytherin, Natty in Gryffindor, Poppy in Hufflepuff, and this one is so hysterical. You have Amit in Ravenclaw, and he doesn't even get a companion quest. All you do is you get the telescope from him to do the astrology table collectibles. That's it. Poppy, Sebastian's got to have like the biggest quest line.
He seems like he's the most focused on.
If you don't already know, Sebastian's quest line is how you get the 3 unforgivable curses in the game. And that one's massive. And Amit over here in Ravenclaw just gives you a telescope. That's it. That's it. And it's his hand,
Ravenclaw is really...
It's his old telescope, too.
Ravenclaw is getting the short end of the stick in this game.
Literally. You do some, like... Even as a Hufflepuff, you're going with Poppy Sweeting, and you're like, hey, there's a whole bunch of, like, poachers and, like, tamers and stuff. And then you find out that they're taming dragons, and, like, you gotta go stop them. It's like, that's badass. And Ravenclaw's like, have my old telescope. Like, okay, cool, thanks.
I do have a question, because I have not finished this game. I have not finished any companion quests. Does it, like... Are there any repercussions of, like, oh, this character's loyal to you now, it will affect this thing later on, or not really?
No, not at all. It is so one-dimensional in that way. Which is unfortunate, because they really... Like, now that I have Hogwarts Legacy, my dream is to have Hogwarts Legacy, like, had a baby with Fable 2. That's what I would want. But, like, up until this point, Hogwarts Legacy is where it's at. But it definitely lacks in some of the RPG, really the strong RPG elements like that, to really give you that sense of, like, you're exploring it, you're building it around yourself. But while I do say the cutscenes do a good job, keep making you feel involved in what's happening in, like, the main moments in the story, which I do like. It's not just like all right, bad guy, stop, you're fighting. Cutscene, oh, he's gone. Like, it's like there's things happening, it's more focused. You're like, it's like from a cinematic point of view, like it's close-ups, like you can see the emotion. It's not just like boom boom, you're here to fight, boom boom, you're out of here. So
boom, boom.
That is boom 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 boom, chakalaka pow. So that is one thing that I do like that it does, but it does lag in some of the other areas. These companion quests, though, you do get some other special stuff like exclusive gear and whatnot, and these people will be with you the entire time for the most part on the quests.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that there was. I think anyone that was excited for this game probably did maybe imagine a little too much of or like wishful
Yeah.
thinking of like that aspect of the RPG side of like the decision making and things like that. But
Oh yeah.
you know, as long as it's the good stories are told, I think that's what matters most.
Definitely. And just leaves room for more to come.
Yeah. You start as
Moving
a fifth
on.
year again.
Again, your new 5th year. You're at Ilvermorny this time.
I do want to say that I didn't know if this was a thing. I assume this was talked about in the past. Like I said, I'm not exactly the craziest Harry Potter fan out there. I thought Hogwarts was just it. I didn't know that there was like other magical schools around the world.
Do you remember Goblet of Fire?
I know what happened.
That the whole point of Goblet of Fire is Hogwarts, the School of Drumstrang, and the Ladies of Beauxbaton. That school all come together to do the Triwizard Tournament. Those are 3 different schools.
Okay, I don't know if I was kind of like lost in translation in the movies because I was just kind of accepting of it, of that.
It's a
Other
lot.
people were here.
It's understandably a lot at first.
Yeah.
It's hard to take in. But one of the cool things is, I believe it's Mount Greylock is Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's actually, Mount Greylock is a real place in Massachusetts.
Interesting.
So, North America's wizard school is in the northwestern Rocky, Massachusetts.
I wonder if, I mean, like, I feel they probably wouldn't, but I wonder if there's like what's the name of that school?
Ilvermorny.
Ilvermorny Legacy.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
it's not.
I don't
it
think
does
that.
not
I don't think
roll
so.
off.
No, I don't think that they would do it. But I guess there's ideas
like,
there.
If you could do maybe you just apparate to somewhere to Ilvermorny and you do stuff there, or you go on like a journey or something, like you come back, like something
Sure.
to yeah
Yeah.
whatnot. This, I mean, the whole game and the world that is shown to you is insane enough already. The map is absolutely massive, and I finished the game. I'm about 36 hours in, and I still haven't unlocked all the fast travel points, and there's a whole that bottom section that I still need to I only went down there due to main quests and like to finish the game, because that's how simple RPGs like this go. You see the map and you see the linear portion. Obviously, that bottom all the way far apart. That's where the game ends. That's how it works.
It's always how
so
it
I only
goes,
went down
yeah.
there, but there's so much more to explore down there. It's nuts, and I want 100% the game. But when you are coming up to the castle, and like as such a hardcore fan as I am, when you see that castle for the first time and you're walking around it, I must have stopped and just like my jaw would drop. Like I would walk into the Defense Against the Dark Arts room and just stop, and all of a sudden every like scene from that classroom in the movies is like rushing back to me. But now I'm here and I'm like looking all around, and I'm not thinking about just those clips. Like I'm just taking everything in. I'll walk in a potions class. I'll be walking through the Great Hall after getting accepted. I'll walk through Hufflepuff's common room because I've never seen that before. Why would they show that? We're cool. Come on. But it's like it's insane just the level of detail that was put in to make it feel so realistic, along with the rest of the world. And like especially graphically, you can have different settings, and one of them is fidelity with ray tracing. And when you come across some of those not linoleum, but like those tile floors with the reflection of like the stained glass off of it, it is just gorgeous. I love it.
Have you noticed the mirror thing?
Where it's kind of like blurry, but like it's kind of a reflection.
Have you noticed it's not really the reflection? It just shows what your camera sees in the mirror. So like
So you're just
if
seeing the
I'm
mirror again, but smaller, or like that sort of thing.
if my character is looking at the mirror, in the mirror I'm seeing the back of me because that's what the camera's showing. And then if I look
Yeah, okay.
away from the mirror and look towards the camera, the front of my face is then in the mirror.
Yeah,
It's
mirrors
not a
are
real
stupid and
reflection.
hard in games. No, and it's fine. You're not going to be
No,
staring
it's
in the
not a
mirror in
big
this game
deal. It was just
anyway.
it's just an interesting little thing. No, it doesn't. It's not really affecting anything.
No, it's everything's fun.
But I will say, I think at least at the point I'm at in the game, which there's still like I don't even have all the systems unlocked yet. I know that, but
mhm.
I think the most impressive part of the game for me is the design of Hogwarts. That
It's because you don't get to see the full thing. And like you see a bunch of it in the movies and stuff, but there's so many different things that you have never even visually seen that are like from the books, and it's like you can't really paint that in your head as much as you want to, but you can go into some of those rooms and the detail is painstakingly there.
I also like. I'm sure that there are, again, not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I'm sure that there are official, like, here's the actual map of Hogwarts. Here's what it looks like. But
Yeah,
to take everything that is there, because it is big, it's not a small castle, and make it work in a video game. It's I think it's very impressive how well they designed Hogwarts and the different parts of it, and also I don't know if this was a matter of the movies being accurate to the books or if the game is calling to the movie or the movies. There are plenty of parts where it's like, okay, yeah, this looks exactly like it did in the movie and it's kind of calling to that.
yeah.
But I'm sure the actual design of Hogwarts is a little different and like that they have to make it work for a video game. So maybe the staircase deal, it's not moving in the same exact way it does in the movies, because I can only imagine what that would be like to
You
design
gotta
and get around.
you gotta see too the fact that this game takes place 110 or so years, 100 years prior to
That's true.
Hogwarts that we've seen.
That is true.
Um, so I mean, shit goes down. Shit's always been going down at Hogwarts.
Yeah,
Just
it's
because
not
there was
really a
even
safe
before
place.
Harry was born, Voldemort was Tom Riddle's going around. I was mentioning this earlier today. Isn't it fucking hysterical that there's this massive wizarding war going on, and this countless people are dying. Like it is a very hard times, and it's just two guys named Harry and Tom at war. Like
Yeah,
that's it. It's just Harry and Tom are at it again. Like that's when I looked at that, it's just hysterical.
yeah. If you really go down to the basic of basics, that's all it is.
Harry and Tom are fighting again.
Harry
Oh
Tom fighting
boy.
again. Oh, so prepare for the death.
Oh great. So dumb. Um
They couldn't have just
I
like
don't even
taken
remember
it
what we were
out
talking
back
about
and handled
before.
it between the two of them.
Right. Just can you guys not do this on company property, please?
Hogwarts must face so many lawsuits.
It's like we have investors coming in today. Can you go into the Forbidden Forest or
This
something?
school doesn't fund itself.
Literally, it keeps getting destroyed. Who's gonna pay for it?
Handy resource indeed.
Reparos
I would
aren't
say-
cheap.
They're not. When you mentioned that, I think the thing that really hit it for me was, you know how obviously the quality of what you see in the movies gets better throughout time. But do you remember what the Forbidden Forest looks like in the first movie back in 2001? Because
No.
walking into the Forbidden Forest for the first time, it felt like it matched that atmosphere perfectly.
I remember like dark spooky woods. That's really it.
Like even to like the detail of the trees with their massive roots and like the type of trees that they were, the sort of matching landscape. Like I walked into there for the first time and that was like a wow, like drop my jaw sort of moment. Like, damn.
That I mean, I trust you on that. You're quite the fan of these things, so
Oh, absolutely. I've every few weeks I'm like, I should rewatch the saga again, all of it. Um, Another thing besides the fact of just how good it looks and how detailed that it is it really tries to hit that feeling of immersion and world building. There are so many NPCs scattering those halls, in the classrooms, around Hogsmeade, even in shops. Like there are people just going around carrying things. There's people. It was a really funny glitch I saw earlier. I love the fact that the game runs with in-game cutscenes with the characters, because there was this one girl who kept trying to look into the telescope that Emily's character was in the cutscene using. So she just keeps leaning over trying to look into it, and then goes, "Ugh," and like gets hurt, and then stands there, and then leans in again. And so we're watching this, and I'm laughing my ass off. And she's like, "What's
Yeah,
happening?" I
that's
said,
good.
"She's stuck in an animation, and until you are not clipping with her anymore, she's gonna keep getting hurt. And
Yeah,
just
it
keep
won't
doing that."
stop.
And I'm loving it. No, it's great. And of course, as soon as like she were to walk away in the cutscene, in the background, you see the girl walk back, like lean back over, and she's just looking through the telescope again.
It's just
From she
finally
had
I
to
can look
choose
through this
one.
thing.
Exactly. But the game is so full of people and even
Yeah.
enemies. Like as you're going through, there's a whole bunch of different enemy types that we'll get into. But it feels very like Elden Ring's a good example. It feels like there's always something around the corner.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily to the scale of Elden Ring, but
No.
in my experience, it's like Hogwarts, like in the castles where that's the most impressive, where you just see the shenanigans that students get up to. So you'll see, like, you'll be running around and someone's being yelled at by what are those things called that Ron gets in the movies? The letter that yells.
Howlers.
Howlers, yeah. So like someone will be getting a howler, and that's just kind of happening. But I will say,
Like ghosts chasing each other, fighting.
yeah, and there are a few that I've seen like repeated a decent amount. So like the ghosts chasing each other, like I've seen that quite a few times.
Yeah.
But then there are plenty I've only seen once of just like, oh, this student is like walking on the wall, and there's students like below them cheering, and I've only seen that once, and like that stuff is cool.
It is. Like I like watching people do magic, or like if you're walking around the Hogwarts at night and you see people walking around with Lumos,
right,
and like doing their own thing. I think that's great. I love that sort of world building, and like I'm part of this with you.
I will say, I don't know if this fits into this category necessarily, but while we're here, your player character and the lines they say, I don't know how many more times I need to hear that all roads lead to Hogsmeade, or whenever you go to a small village, or I wonder how I would fare in a small village like this.
Like all roads lead to Hogsmeade.
It's oh my! It's
Mine
like
now,
every time.
demiguys. Mine now, demiguys. Mine now, demiguys. Oh my god, that's the one that got me, because the way that quest works when you get the demiguises is you get them for Mr. Moon, and that's how you unlock Alohomora. And you need to get more demiguise statues in order to like get enough in order to hit like rank 2 and 3 for the spell. So the amount of times I'd sneak into a place and mine now, demiguise, and I'm just like, yeah, cool. Don't care.
Yeah, that it's again nothing that is it's a minor distraction more than anything, but like or the fast travel statue. Wherever you fast travel. Where are you going now? What are you up to now? It's just like, oh
you
my
wouldn't
god,
believe how difficult it was to travel before I invented flu powder.
Yeah, the amount of spells I have shot at that statue.
Dude, it's not gonna be good for this, but there was a TikTok of that as like you're walking away, and it's like me every 5 seconds to the flu thing, and it showed a clip from Prisoner of Azkaban where he's yelling at his aunt, "Shut up! Shut up!"
Yeah,
and I'm just like, that's perfect.
No, that encapsulates the feeling so well. It
does.
I travel to Hogsmeade. It seems all roads leads to Hogsmeade, and I will mock it. Oh, it seems all roads lead to Hogsmeade. Oh, here we go again.
I do the same thing. I mock myself all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, no shit. I've been here 3 times today.
Yeah. It's a minor distraction. It's just like
it is. It's only for a second, but it's like we've done this 12 seconds worth.
we don't need to keep hearing that same line.
No. All right. We're getting into the more of the meat of what this world has to offer here. Uh, I wouldn't say it's the Elden Ring. I would 100% say that this is the Skyrim. It's definitely it's a Skyrim-y game.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it has aspects that like it's because of how recent and like Elden Ring is and how it's talked about. But this is like I look at this game, it is just Harry Potter Skyrim. That's it.
Yeah, it still does do the pretty like, all right, here's this part of the map. You can go to the fast travel point. You'll start to unlock icons around there. There is a checklist of like, there's this many pages here. There's this as many this here. It is that type of open world. I'm not having the issue of like, at least not yet, but like something like Valhalla, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I hit a point with that game where I was
Yeah.
like, this is way too much. It's too much, way too much. I've not hit that yet. It's still in the mindset of like, you give me a checklist, you give me this task to do.
I think
I'm
it's
gonna
how it's
want to do it
presented.
all.
Because when you go to the map and you zoom out all the way and you hover over in like the different sections of the map and it'll be like you've done 1 out of 3 of this, 1 out of 6 of this. When you have it formatted like that, I'm gonna fucking 100%.
Yeah,
Like
I
I'm
mean,
gonna get them all.
That's how Spider-Man, the newer ones, handle like New York.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the
Yeah.
different small districts, and it's like, oh, you have this out of this many, this out of this many. Yeah, give me that checklist, especially because, quite frankly, if they said, oh, there's 100 book pages out in the world around Hogwarts, and they don't narrow it down any more than that, I'd be like, fuck that. that's going to be
Literally.
way too frustrating.
And even when it's narrowed down, I have looked up walkthroughs and I've spent a good half an hour looking for my last 3 pages of Hogsmeade. It was painful.
I'm sure.
And one of the ones was right across from Tomes and Scrolls, and I'm like, how the fuck did I not get this one? I was pissed.
You'll see in the gameplay footage that we're showing, which is really just me running around Hogwarts, the school, because I that's just where I was at, and I didn't want to show too much of the game. But you will be constantly doing Revelio, 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 just to see if there's anything in your immediate surroundings.
Like one of the nice things that they do is they obviously realize that you're going to be using spells often. So even if you cast, this is just a gameplay thing. You're not a master powerful wizard and you can just use nonverbal spells, but they will not have you say it every single time you cast it because they don't want you to lose your fucking mind, and they don't want to lose their fucking mind while they're making it.
No, I feel okay with the amount of times that your character will actually will say Revelio. I'll cast Revelio, and then I'll cast it like 10 more times in a row as I'm running around this little spot. And then it'll be like, Revelio. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Sometimes I walk like just far enough, and it's like it hits that rhythm of, all right, I'm hitting it way too often and I'm hearing it too often. Like I just wait either just long enough or I travel just far enough and I do it again and I'm like, Revelio, and I'm like, stop it.
This game could use a talk meter.
You will be doing that constantly, and I will be doing that. I've been doing it for 35 hours. I'm going to be doing it for however much longer I'll be playing, at least in my main playthrough.
Lots of Revelios.
But there are a lot of things to do. This map is full of icons, to which people hate them, people love them. You can go. I like looking at them. It lets me know how much more I have left, especially when you're on your broom and you're just using Revelio. It'll show you sort of like a more level version of where everything is if you want to do it more explorative that way instead of just like going and clicking on a icon on a map and just going for it. But one of the coolest ones that they have are the hello. Hey, Frey.
Oh, she's not going to be in frame in the actual video.
No, Frey. Oh, whatever.
She might come in. We'll see.
We'll see. Are the battle arenas, to which if you were to pre-order the game, specifically the digital deluxe edition, and got the Dark Arts battle pack, you would have gotten not only cosmetics but have unlocked the Dark Arts battle arena. Now, the battle arenas that are spaced around the actual game that other people will be able to access are similar to the Dark Arts battle arena, which are a sort of horde wave-based. You get a whole bunch of enemies that you have to defeat, and after a few waves, you win. The only weird thing is that you kind of have to destroy a bunch of vases beforehand, and there's just different amounts of vases. Literally, you'll come across this place, and there's 20 vases you have to just destroy, and then this tombstone will, like, the wings will open up, or whatever, the arms, and you can just walk through it like you're walking through platform 9 3/4,
Is
and
it
then you're just fighting.
is it supposed to be like secret battle arenas? Like it's not sanctioned by the school?
Oh, of course. No, this is you're murdering dark wizards and trolls and stuff, and
Okay, so
like
maybe
this is underground stuff. But it's
so
like,
maybe
what
those are like
person you oh, he only destroyed 19 vases. He obviously doesn't know about us. Like, we're not
no,
gonna let him
that's
in.
I think it's a test to see like are you destructive and mischievous enough to destroy all of these? Oh, you are? All right, you could come to our murder battles.
That would be the most pathetic way of like getting
It's-
that's doing that is like how the army watches people play Call of Duty and wants to recruit them. That's what they do. Like, that's what that is, and it's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Listen,
This is who
that's
we're
my
gonna
best
fucking-
explanation.
And it's, you know what? I hate it.
It's my best explanation other than video game.
I hate it because it makes sense, and I don't like it. I hate it. It's stupid. The difference between these wave-based modes and the Dark Arts version is the Dark Arts version, and this is the only one, there's a few regular battle arenas, is the Dark Arts will give you all 3 unforgivable curses just to play with. You just hop in, and you can just play with them, even if you haven't unlocked a single one yet.
And there's no consequences. Like if you're killing them, it's not like you're gonna pop back out in the world and it's gonna be like murderer.
There's not a single consequence in the game. There's no fucking consequences.
Okay.
There's
You know
just-
that
there's just
that makes
yeah,
it tempting to be a dark wizard. Like, does that actually matter?
really no. You really
Okay.
know. They just want you to have fun. Like, my second playthrough, I'm really going Dark Wizard, and I'm like choosing every dialogue option that paints me to be an asshole. But that's just because I'm also super hardcore role playing. So the big bad is Ranrock, Ragrock, Ranrock,
Ranrock, yeah.
Rangok, Gok,
No, Ranrock. You got it.
Glock, the Glock,
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. He's the bad goblin, and he's working with a evil wizard named Victor Rookwood.
Yep.
My second playthrough, I will be playing as Rookwood's daughter, Miriam Rookwood, and I'm gonna continue the Dark Arts legacy as a Ravenclaw.
Wow.
So that's what I'm doing.
I want to I want to like beat the game 100% everything, and then once I'm done with it, be like, all right, now I'm gonna kill everybody.
You can. You
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
exactly.
save beforehand, but I there's definitely opportunities to just go around and take out every single person in that castle.
Yeah, it's
Obviously, it's a cooldown of a minute to use Avada Kedavra.
oh, that's gonna
but
take
you
a lot of
can.
time then.
Yeah,
Well, does it
I
do
know
the thing where it's like when you're outside a battle, there's not really cooldowns?
possibly. Sometimes there is, though. I don't know if it's like a glitch, but sometimes there is when you're
If-
outside of battle.
It feels very inconsistent, but
It
sometimes
is.
you can just cast it however much you want to.
Yeah. As you're playing through these things, everything you do in the game will give you little gear, appearance stuff, accessories.
You will also be
Loot or
seeing me a
whatever.
lot in this gameplay footage. Every time I get a new cosmetic, I'm like, "Ooh, what does that look like? Oh, maybe I'll swap that in now."
There's so much. Another one of the big things is you can cast ancient magic. There are some fun things you can do with combat, but spread around the map are these little ancient magic hotspots to where you will get this sense. You hit whatever button to investigate, and 3 little tufts of ancient magic will pop up. Just go get them. Go get them, and
Go get
that's it. After you do that enough times, it'll unlock through the challenges, and you will get more bars, so you can have more uses for ancient magic, which is very useful.
That
Although
sounds
I found
useful,
later
yeah.
in the game that I only really had enough to like you don't. I didn't find myself really getting the energy to use it as often as I thought I would. I really only had I had 4 bars, but they're mainly empty, and I would just fill up the first one, use it. Fill up the first one, use it.
Yeah, that's unless I happen to at the end of a fight get a bunch of those whatever they are that fills up your
Mhm.
meter. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Yeah, once it gives me that prompt, I just use it.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta find the right one to use it on. That's the thing. I know I have
Yeah.
one use for it, so I just gotta just quickly turn you go boom, or I'll just use it by accident. And I'll be like, oh, he was literally one shot. Fuck it, whatever. I'm whoops.
Whoops.
The next one is gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be a crux for me. These are Merlin trials, or the trials of Merlin. Everyone knows Merlin. He's in these universe 2, really powerful wizard, blah blah blah. He apparently set out these little spiral swirls on the ground and these different trials for you to complete. You have to walk over and sprinkle mallow sweet leaves on it, and this is where I associate it with the Sonic Frontiers level of just you know how the maps, when you unlock map sections in Sonic, you just do some random ass shit.
Yeah, you really do.
You do the most random shit, but they're also repetitive. So there's the
Yeah.
one where you look down and you have to follow the blocks in the right order, and if you touch one out of the way, it starts over. It's the
Yeah.
dumbest random shit. That's what these are. So maybe you have to go up a hill and there's a boulder, and you have to get Depulso to push the boulder down the hill, and then it lands into a little
Yeah.
thing. You did it.
Yeah, they
And
are
there's going to
like
be
that.
a couple of those.
Yep.
Or there's hey, go find 3 different groups of glow flies and bring them to these 3 different posts. Hey, you did it. Nice.
Yeah.
It's some dumbass shit. But you know what? They're fun. Some of them are confusing, much more confusing than they need to be.
I did have trouble with one of them finding the 3 they're not there's 5 metal balls you find, and you have to lead them to these little
To the little pyramid that they make.
Yeah, I had trouble finding one. They were hidden under rocks.
I'm in the middle of one right now where I've done the first one. There's 2 more I gotta do, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, where the fuck is these other sets of balls?
Yeah,
Where are these balls?
Revelio. You gotta Revelio them.
That's all I do. That's the most useful. I want them to do one of those things where it comes out oh, it's been 1 week of Hogwarts Legacy. Thank you for everyone who's playing. Here are some stats. You've used Revelio. You've only used Revelio. That's it.
I can only imagine. I would wager that Revelio is used more than the basic attack, the basic spell attack.
I think they would be close, but Revelio would probably still prevail.
I think Revelio beats it.
Yeah. I'll agree.
Yep.
Like I said before, there are astrology tables that you'll come across. As you take your telescope, you have to do them at night. You can switch between day and night, sort of at your choice. You just gotta open the map, click right stick, switches. You'll slap your little telescope down, you look up, and then you'll see a constellation. You kind of have to rotate and zoom in for the right thing, but once you land it, it's yeah, you did it, and then you move on. You get this book, and there's challenges, and as you complete different challenges, you get more cosmetics or different skills and traits that you can equip and stuff. There's a good reason to do a bunch of stuff if you want a whole bunch of loot, or maybe there's a certain more, oh, I'll get more damage with using this spell, so I should equip that to this piece of clothing. Blah 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 blah. We'll get to more later. Like we mentioned, there was the Flu Flames, basically the fast travel system, similar to how in the second movie Harry had a little cough and he got sent to Diagon Alley and not Diagon Alley.
Remember, say very clearly, Diagon Alley. Diagon Alley.
In the books, he's like Diagon, and then he goes that's I love it. But this is a more flu-proof version. And you're just gonna open up your map and go back and forth, and it's just she talks too fucking much. That's the only thing.
Oh my god, so much.
Shut up. Besides Hogwarts itself, the only other like really big place would be Hogsmeade itself. After you finish like a class or two, you'll end up being brought to Hogsmeade to not only go to a bunch of stores to like get stuff for other classes, but you'll be able to get your wand because you've been using like a hand-me-down second, like oh, I have a spare wand in my classroom. That's what you'll be using. You gotta get rid of that shit.
Yeah, you gotta get that wand.
It's gross. We don't want that.
No, who wants
And soon enough, you'll be heading Hogsmeade left and right because you know what? At the end of the day, all roads lead to Hogsmeade, and you'll be throwing your galleons.
I've heard that one a bunch. Yep.
You'll be throwing your galleons at every doorstep, going in and out. But there's a whole bunch of places. I mean, everyone knows Ollivanders. Garrick isn't here at the moment. This is old times. So we have Gerbold, Gerbil. We have Gerbil Ollivander.
A gerbil is running it. It's crazy.
It's insane. He's cute. He puts his little wand behind his ear. Well, it's not a place where you can shop directly. It is like your big. This is your moment where you get your wand. This is your like, oh, curious, very cute, like that. It's that you're playing with it. You're sending boxes flying. It's fun. What you really get to do in this is, if you have done the Pottermore, this is where like your info of like what your wand's made of will come from. But this is sort of where you pick what will your wand look like. Later in the game, you're going to come across more collectibles that are actual wand handles that you can switch out. But your wand itself, basically from this point on, what is this going to look like? What different shape? What color? What wood color? It's still going to be a certain type of wood. But that's what you choose. And from then on, that's your wand. That's your... And, oh god, I want my wand. It's so simple, but like I just want the handle. I love it.
There's some cool handles.
There are some cool handles. Early on, you have tomes and scrolls. You'll end up unlocking the Room of Requirement, where is a place is basically like your little customizable little hub. You'll be able to place down different things, decorate. Tomes and scrolls is basically where you get your blueprints in order to be able to put these things around your space. So that'll be...
We'll talk about the Room of Requirement more later, but I want to talk about it.
It's so cool. Some of the other ones, we have like J. Pippin's Potions. It's just where you get your potions and like ingredients for them, or your recipes. Spint Witches, Sporting Needs is... What, like once you finish flight class, you'll be able to come here. This is where you'll do your broom upgrades, buy more brooms, cosmetic ones. The Magic Neep is basically just the herbology version of J. Pippin's. You're going to get different seeds in order to create different plants that do different effects. A little lower, Dogweed and Deathcap is like the angrier version, where you get like your combat plants. So you have like mandrakes, there's venomous tentacula, the Chinese chomping cabbages. There's some cool things.
That's a good way to put it, the angrier version.
It's true though, because some help and some hurt.
Yeah.
We have Madame Snelling's Tress Emporium, basically the barber. You could just go and change your hair. I went a little role play, and once it switched seasons, I made my hair longer, and it felt good, and I have kept it that way. Gladrag's Wizard Wear, best in fashion and style, so you can go on a shopping spree, basically just for appearances. Brood and Peck will unlock later in the game once you finish Beast class. That is basically, you'll be able to collect beasts, and sort of, if you have too many, like the Pokemon way of just selling them and just getting coin. It feels worse in this way because of how involved you are.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good.
I've only done it like once or twice, but it doesn't feel good anytime I've done it.
I'm gonna go capture some animals and sell them for money. You are the poacher.
I am. I'm the all around. I'm the jack of all trades. I'm just as evil. Some of the dens you'll find dens and other stuff around the map. These are where you'll find some of these creatures, such as puffskins. If a large tuft of fur could be a little living creature with just like a stupid smushed face, it would be a puffskin, and this is what we got. They're the easiest to catch. As you're catching different creatures, there are sort of like quick time events that have, I would say, different levels of difficulty, but they're not difficult. It's just how many times you have to wait and click X. That's it. Like some animals or some creatures, you kind of use Leviosa to kind of hold them in the air to make it easier to just take them. We also got moon calves.
That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, they're okay. It's fine.
That doesn't feel good.
It's better than selling them.
Sure.
Mooncalves, these are like long neck, big eyed beauties that jump up and around in little groups. They're always looking up into the night sky. It's like giraffe cows. They have these really long, thick necks and like these tiny little bodies and little booties, but these giant, gorgeous eyes that stare up into the sky. And they usually only come out at night. But they're adorable. There's also Jabbernols. They're like these gorgeous peacock blue jay birds. And apparently they do not make a single sound until the time of their death.
Oh. All right.
They fly completely silent. And they
so
don't make a
if you hear
single
one,
sound.
it's like, rip.
Yee, Charmander's tail went out.
Ugh.
Besides those, there's also going to be enemy camps and enemy dens. These are going to be more little combat arenas and like similar to Skyrim. Like you'll have like your little puffskin den, but then you'll have something like a troll den, to which maybe there's just one troll inhabiting it, but they're strong. There's some strong trolls.
They have health. That's for sure.
One of the annoying things that you'll find early on is not every single icon on the map can be like checked off and completed. That's because these are like respawnable battles. All things like this, like there's troll dens. Enemy camps are finishable, sort of. Like you can go back to fight, but there is collectibles that mark them as completed. One of people's favorites is the spider dens. They're not nearly as challenging as the trolls, but these spiders are group fighters. They all come out, little tiny hatchlings. Light them on fire. There's different versions. There's spitters who just throw their acid at you. There's scurriers who go underground and like pop up. There's big matriarchs who are like the queens, and they're a pain in the ass. It's cool how they do sort of the immersion and like feel of it, because along with these actual ones, you have these little hatchlings running around, but there's also ones that are not in battle, so they're just like you're crawling through like a little space and you just see them crawling, but they're legitimate. You can kill them. It's not just like part of the loading or whatever. You'll come across like covers to graves or like a wall that you can pull off, and like maybe some will crawl out. Like it's cool, and you can see them if you use Revelio. You could see them that they're behind there, and then they just crawl out. Like I think it's cool. The main ones are like the Goblin Bandit camps. These are the ones that are going to be having some sort of collectible for you to like check off and say that you've finished. But it's just going to be a few little battles of, maybe they'll have like a one big guy, but usually just a wizard, few trolls, something very basic and simple. What page is the collectibles? Let me go to my physical. Let's see.
It's the end of a page. Wow.
We are on page. Holy shit.
That's not a number. I don't see a page. Holy shit.
We're on page 6 of 11.
Ooh.
Collectibles. There's a shit ton of collectibles in this game, and this is where you're really going to be using Revelio constantly.
All the time.
You'll end up getting this field guide early on. This is going to be basically where you keep all your quests. This is your inventory, your main settings, whatever, your screen. And and basically where you put all of these. One of the big collectibles is the pages. There are field guide pages just scattered around. This is the ones where you Revelio, and something of lore note will pop out and be like, "Oh, here's something cool." Or you'll use other spells to solve small puzzles, and you'll just get like a random field page to collect just for a number because there's so many of them to get. But most of them have like a meaning to them and will tell you some cool detail about the world. Demiguise statues, like we mentioned before, collecting these for Mr. Moon, who is the beast teacher, will award you with the ability to use Alohomora and unlock locks, which are its own little mini game.
I need that so
It's,
bad.
Yeah, it's a process.
I've purposely not been exploring the world until I have Alohomora. Because the amount of times I'm like, oh, let me clear up this little town. I can't because I can't unlock this goddamn door.
You have to progress far enough and then talk to him, and then he'll bring you to one, and then you have to go at night, and then you can collect them. It's
that's what
a
I
decent
want.
way in. Some of the more meaningful collectibles will be the collection chests, some that you will find at these goblin camps, and these are spread all over the entirety of the game. In them, you'll find cosmetics or upgrades to your character, whether they be for like the room requirement, like something you can place, like to make a decoration, or it could be a wand handle or a trait to buff it damage or whatever. You could get configuration items. These are like chairs, paintings, tables, lights, plants, shelves, stuff to really just make it your own. And there's like 140 total. Like there's a shit ton of just configuration items.
Yeah.
Then you have traits. There's like 70 traits to collect. There's 48 or 42 or 45 some odd wand handles in the game. There's usually 2 or 3 different types of like one version of a wand handle. So like my top 3 are the black arrow, the black basket weave, and the teal checkerboard. But there's also like a blue checkerboard. There's a red and there's a blue basket weave. There's a brown arrow. But like these ones specifically, like I want to craft my own little wand with a black arrow handle because that shit dope.
Yeah, they have like the different. There's like this specific type of handle, and it'll come in a bunch of different colors, and each different color is like its own thing you find.
Mm-hmm. Some are some really grew on me. I love the black basket weave, but I came across the red one recently, and I was like, oh, kind of really like this. Basically what you're going to be doing the entirety of the game is using spells. There are a bunch of sort of like these are kind of spells that are essential that you're going to have from very early on in the game to the end of the game, starting with just your basic attack. You're going to be tapping RT. No one ever really says what kind of spell it is. You're just kind of sending out...
No, it's just little.
You're just kind of sending out pain.
Things. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good way. It's pain.
Yeah, it hurts. They're only really there. Well, most of the spells have a cooldown to them when you're using an attack or an ability, so it's only really there to keep combos alive while you're waiting for them to refresh. You'll learn Protego, and with it, Stupefy. This is basically your block and parry. You hit triangle or Y in order to create a little bubble around yourself. You'll block it. If you hold that button, you'll end up using Stupefy, which will send back a parry and sort of like stun them.
That is specifically where combat, I compare it to the Spider-Man games, because it is very much like you try to keep your obviously you're not swinging around, so it's a little less mobile, but you're using your basic attack, then you get your wizard or your witch senses instead of your Spidey senses.
Yeah.
And that means an attack is coming and you either dodge if it's red, or if it's like a yellowish, you can counter that with Protego and Stupefy. It's very similar to that. A little less mobile, but the same type of idea.
I don't know if you've unlocked it yet, but you can unlock a better version of the dodge where you end up almost like teleporting. So
Basically,
like
yeah.
that's where I would say that you're swinging. You're like your special extra movement comes in to just do some cool stuff.
Yep.
Revelio. You're going to be using that every 5 seconds throughout the entirety of the game, so have fun with that. Besides getting them for collectibles, you can also use it to see like the red outlines of enemies through walls and like help figure out where stuff like that is. Ancient Magic and Ancient Magic Throw. When you learn about your abilities, you will be able to fill up your bars, cast down very powerful attacks, and just in general, there'll be barrels, explosive barrels, boxes and stuff around it will have the ability you can hit right bumper and you'll
You
just
know,
kind of pick them up and like kind of throw them.
also, now that I'm thinking about it, that's very Spider-Man.
Yeah, it is.
The way you just pick up things out of the surroundings, it's instead of shooting, like picking them up with a web and
like
then
a
flinging
web
at
and then
them.
like momentum it. It's just kind of like spell, take it, go.
Yeah, but it's honestly, it's very much the same concept.
I keep seeing people saying that combat is so like boring and like it's so like I don't see where they're going with it because I found that I can have it's playful that you could just it's there to it's like a toy box.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I can see where it could get repetitive, but
Once you get more spells and you really figure out your like set, it like people complain like, oh, I have to hold right trigger and then use the D-pad to switch to another set of spells. If you're playing this game for as long as you're going to be, and like me, I haven't changed my spells in forever. I know exactly where most of them are, at least on 2 of my diamonds. So if I'm in the middle of a battle and I need to use something, I know exactly what to do in a split second. Like I'm doing it anyway. It's not that hard. It
it
just sounds like sort of like critic bullshit.
I think the most annoying part is before you can use skill points to unlock more like more presets to have that you can switch between of the 4 spells you can have equipped, because you can have 4 equipped at a time and then you can kind of cycle through a few 4 sets of 4, but you have to use skill points to unlock those other sets. Before I had those sets, I was like, boy, I really need to be able to use more spells. Once you can also like, I have an organized for like, oh, this is when I'm fighting other wizards, so I have like the disarming spell in there, or things along those lines. I have another one. It's like, oh, I'm fighting against these types of enemies, so these are gonna be all my elemental ones, so I could do like fire or ice and kind of pair with that. I can see where someone would say it gets repetitive, but I enjoy when you give me like, oh, this person has like the yellow bubble around them, so I need to do this specific attack.
Yeah.
They have the purple, I need to do this. That scratches that same part of my brain where it's like, oh, give me a set of rules and a system to apply to it, and I will be very happy with that. It gives me that. It
forces you to use numerous different ways of playing the game.
Yeah, and it's certainly not the first game to do that type of combat system where it's like, this type of enemy use this attack, this type of enemy use this. Like, that's honestly all games have some sort of form of that. But I, at the point I'm playing, am not bored of that. If combat feels good.
Yeah, no, I have not gotten bored of combat at all. Maybe just the fact of like some enemies. I'm playing on normal. Some enemies are fucking healthy. They are built, and I don't use as many potions as I should to like I can really bring down my cooldown if I wanted to, and I don't really have much to complain about now since I have Avada Kedavra unlocked. I can just fucking kill. You can take it. You can take out a troll in one shot. Like it's. Obviously, there's small exceptions, like actual main story boss fights and stuff like that. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. This is a video game. It can't just be that easy. But like stuff like that, no reason to complain. But it's still like I know exactly what I'm doing. Just do it.
Motivational.
Aloha Mora. We talked about that. Once you end up talking to Mr. Moon, you'll need to collect 9 demiguise statues to unlock Alohomora 2 and 13 more to unlock Alohomora 3. Once you do that, no lock will stand in your way.
None.
Petrificus Totalis. This one's an interesting one. You'll end up going through the story and learning the Disillusionment spell, which is basically makes you just invisible. when you're invisible, this is sort of like your stealth. So like you
Yeah.
can go into an encampment and like go up to behind somebody, and this is like Petrificus Totalis is like your silent takedown. You use
Pretty
that,
much.
and then just they fall over and you collect their stuff, and you hope that no one saw you. That's it.
Yep.
But it's cool. Like I like it.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
it's basic stealth. You can do the thing where like I'm gonna shoot this box over here, and all the enemies will get distracted and start roaming towards it. And you can kind of like sneak behind the enemy that's the furthest away and just kind of work your way up, stealthing them.
hmm. Besides those, you have 26 total spells to just play with and have fun that you will unlock throughout the game. I kind of separate them into a couple different areas. We have like the tool spells, the force spells, the combat spells. So like tools, we have Lumos. This will cast a bright light to guide you. It's used to, there's little butterfly frames throughout the game where it'll be like an empty canvas. You have to use Lumos. It'll tell you where to go, and you have to go and use Lumos to guide a moth or a butterfly back to the frame. Devil Snare, you will come across it in this game at certain points. Light, Devil Snare hates light. And even like certain, like in the beginning of the game, you use it. The first time you get Lumos, you're using it to solve puzzles and like of reflection and like getting things to go and like match up. Another one's Reparo. You're just fixing shit. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're just fixing shit. Force spells. Now, when it comes to some of these ones, there are some that I love just how it works with the universe, because these spells can just be used in and out of combat so efficiently. Like they all serve their purposes, but you can also, if you wanted to, just like bring someone like Accio. You'll be walking around. You can just, if someone drops something like a collectible or something, or money, you can use Accio to bring it to you if you wanted to. You could use Accio to collect the field guide pages that are flying around. You could use Accio on a goblin who is trying to hurt you and bring him close to you, and then you just start slamming him with a basic attack right into his face. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. You can Accio cats. It's great.
Don't do that.
I've done it a few times. I don't hit them with the basic attack and send them away. I just Levioso them and Accio them so they are always with me.
They won't. Cats don't like that.
Well, zeros and ones do, at least in my mind. The opposite of Accio we have is Depulso. You'll learn that a little later on. This is probably one of my more favorite versions of the force spells, because it's just like force push. You're just pushing them backwards. It's really convenient when like there's certain bridges and enemies are there, and I'm like, oh, cool, Depulso. Oh, you're dead. Cool, that was nice. In combat, we have spells like Incendio, which is well known. All it really does at first is sort of just sends out a very short-ranged cone of fire, does some damage. You'll end up learning its like older brother, Confringo, which sends a longer range, sort of like fireball, firebolt sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can use those to sort of like light different braziers and torches, and get more field guide pages from them. We have all three of the wonderful, unforgivable curses in the game. Imperio. This curse is very useful in very large scale fights, especially if you use it on like the biggest enemy there. Imperio kind of is just like the "you're gonna do what I want you to do" spell, so you could just turn them over to your side and have them take out everyone else. It rocks.
Is there a cooldown? Like, do they snap out of it after a certain amount of time, or it's just like, no, you're on my side and that's it? Okay.
They do. Crucio. When under the Cruciatus curse, the afflicted will be more prone to damage. They'll take increased damage just from basically everywhere, making them a much easier target. And finally, the killing curse of Vada Kedavra. With a cooldown of an entire minute, this extremely powerful spell has the ability to kill any enemy. From the most basic goblin to the largest of trolls, those who wield the ability to cast this unforgivable curse are a force to be reckoned with.
That's when you can start killing kids.
Yeah, and I have a few kids on my list.
So you are a dark wizard.
I mean, honestly, my character looks so dark. It's the picture that I sent you the other day. That's
Yeah.
still what he looks like.
I mean, I'm pretty sure my response to you was just they look evil.
Yeah, but he just looks dope. He's from Sweden. I don't know.
What? That
He's
makes
foreign
sense.
exchange
Sure.
student. Later on in the game, you will unlock talents. These are basically like skill points. There are 5 different sort of trees you can put them in. The main ones will just sort of upgrade your basic spells. So Incendio, for example, if you upgrade it, instead of sending out just like a cone of flame, it'll send out a ring of fire around you, doing like an AoE, attacking everyone nearby. Accio, you can like Accio or Levioso, like 3 people at once instead of just one, and like really group them up. It's and when it comes to these stuff, it makes it a lot more fun and playful to just have fun with the different combat, use different spells, not just focused on killing everybody. It's it's cool. And then use the dark art spells to just fucking murder everyone for fun.
Yeah.
All right. Like a third partway into the game, you end up unlocking or finding the room of requirement, which is basically your spot to study and like really just like you need your own space to study and like work on your schoolwork and whatnot. And if you know how the room of requirement works, it transforms itself to fit what you need. And you have so much room to put down and decorate and have spaces for like herbology tables and potion brewing tables and all these fun little things that you'll end up acquiring throughout the story. But as soon as you get it, you learn 3 spells: the Conjuring spell, Evanesco, and the Altering spell. Conjuring is pretty simple. It'll just open up a menu. You'll be able to choose what item you want to put down or put on a wall just to decorate it. It's like, here's a box. This can't overlap with this. You can put it next to it. It's whatever. Evanesco is the opposite. If there's something on the wall or sitting there and you don't want it there, use this to get rid of it. It'll do sort of an exchange. There's this stuff called Moonstone in the game that you will collect, that each item has sort of like cost of Moonstone to create. But if you destroy item, you will get some Moonstone back. So it's a give take. I ran through my room requirement and destroyed so much stuff. I loaded myself up with Moonstone.
That's the first thing I did too. Was anything that was there, I just destroyed it all because I was like, no, I want to start this from scratch. Yeah, decorate it how I want to decorate it.
And to which I've barely done much decoration besides like my essential utilities, because there's still so many conjuration things to collect. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to start because I'm gonna get something else. I'm gonna have to move something or want like I want to wait till I have a whole bunch of opportunities.
So I have my organization pretty set, which is like the first room you go into is kind of like my collectible room. So I'm gonna have like all the statues you can get, kind of like museum style, in like the center, and in the corners is like, oh, here's like all the animal stuff is gonna go. So I have like the frog choir. I have like some sort of like animal skull on the head on the wall there. All that the fun collectible stuff, and then my separate room is like my work room. So I have like the desk there where you can identify items, and like one wing I have a bunch of potion tables set up like in a circle, and then the other wing is all like the plant, the tables where you could grow plants. I'm happy with how it came out.
Which side is which?
When you walk down those stairs, the left side is the potion side.
It's the opposite for me. Herbology on the left, potions on the right.
Did you? So you can also, I really like, you could customize from like a few different preset options, but like every single individual wall, every floor, every like railing, like you get to choose from these presets which ones you want. I went full on I don't remember what the actual one is called, but it's very like nature-y, because that seemed to essentially be like, all right, this is kind of like the Hufflepuff version, and I'm going full on like, I am a Hufflepuff. I love my house.
Their genre of decoration is called botanical.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. It seemed very Hufflepuff, so I just made everything that.
So as you're using the conjuration spell, you'll also have the altering spell. So when you go to conjure something, you'll already from the get-go have the ability to choose like a few different presets. So say you have like your potions table. Do you want your regular potions table or your botanical potions table, eclectic potions table, gothic they're all just different designed versions of that do the same thing.
Yeah.
Once you choose that, you can choose what design and even what color, and then you place it. You don't want to have to destroy it and do it all over again. If you want to just change the color, you would use the altering spell. Just focus on it and then just boom, change this, change that. Keep it simple and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
There are
like when games let you, even like Fallout 4, when you could like, Fallout 4's was a little different. Maybe not the most intuitive, but I spent so much time doing that in Fallout 4. Like, give me that option, I will do it.
I remember how pissed people were when they were like, "What do you mean Fallout has like Minecraft gameplay?" But when you really got into it, and it was that like Skyrim level of I have to go get resources and then create walls, and then I can build it whatever way I want in whatever. Like I got so addicted. I was like,
Yeah,
perfect.
I love that shit in games. When you let me actually like customize things and make it mine, it helps me get immersed and really role play in that sense.
The only problem with me, like I'm still going to, like it's not my major focus right now because like as of right now I beat the main story. I want to do the collectibles, but like the cool thing with Fallout that it was is you have the option to, I think it's called Sunshine Island, but there's a tiny little remote island off the coast of the game, and that is a location that you can make and place things on the entirety of the island. It's not like a small little plot of land
Yeah.
on a random part of the map. And to which this is just 2 rooms.
It's 2 rooms, yeah.
Like there's only so much you can do with it, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm kind of waiting. Like all I can really do is put things on walls and put things on the floor. I can't really make it my own. But like you can go and change the walls, the ceiling. You could change part of a balcony and change it for the entirety of the room requirement, or you could just change that single balcony and change the other one to something else. Up to you. Our little friend, our little house elf that's going to be sitting with us in the room requirement is Deke, good old friend of Headmistress Weasley. He is here to. He gives you some side quests. He's here to talk. He's here to remind you so many times that you should really be proud of the potions that you've brewed. Thanks, Deke. All right. And his cool thing is he sort of sets the ambiance and atmosphere of the room requirement, so you can make your place look botanical and Hufflepuff and light and cheery. And then you're like, "Hey, Deke, make this place all dark and spooky," and then he'll just change it so it's what you designed, but it's now just it's nighttime and it's like really foggy and it's like kind of uncomfortable on the inside. And you're like, "Cool, I'm gonna go plant something," and like I'll be right back. And it's just like, sure. I had mine like that for a while because I was rocking like the gothic style at first, and then I moved over to the botanical, and I was just like, I just want to be cozy, make it all light and happy in here.
Yep.
So that's what I got now. The coolest aspect of the game and the room requirement is the addition of the vivarium that you unlock. This is the point of the game where you will unlock the knapsack, which is the item used to collect beasts out in the wild. But the vivarium is basically where you can go to keep your own personal petting zoo of different creatures and make them fuck.
Oh, so it's Pokemon.
Yeah, you can set up breeding. Different. You buy it from Tomes and Scrolls. You buy breeding pens, and
you buy breeding.
You buy breeding and it breeds. There's an achievement right now. I have to breed 10 different species. I think I've only done 3 or 4 so far. And it's like, you know how, like, oh, here is a potion. It'll take 30 seconds. Here's a plant that'll take 10 minutes. Here's a fucking, this will take half an hour. Like, I guess I'm going to go explore or something. And the only frustrating thing, too, about the vivarium is you have a limit of, like, 12 creatures total. But you have a limit of 4 species. So you can only put 4 separate species into one vivarium.
Can you have multiple vivariums?
here's what the thing. I don't want to get into too many spoiler territory, but later in the game, you will end up locking 2 more vivariums with different settings.
Okay, sure.
So you will have more than enough room overall as the game proceeds.
Cool.
But you'll be going around with the knapsack. You'll be getting there's shiny creatures as well.
It's Pokemon.
There's male, females. There's like different. There's different skins, different colored, like puff skins, for example. But they're like, I have a Thestral that's a shiny, and it looks like it would be a shiny. Like, it's kind of hard to make like a shiny Thestral or whatever, but like its skin is almost like opaque, like it's kind of like almost see-through. It's weird, but it works for the Thestral. But I love it, and that's one of the ones that I made fuck, and now I got a shiny baby. I love it.
Is that how it works in Pokemon? Can you breed shinies to get more shinies?
Nah, it doesn't work that way.
Ah.
You will also have the loom and the gear identifier. Those are like the main appearance and like upgrade for your clothes sort of things. The gear identifier, later in the game, you'll end up getting random bits of loot that'll be like, I don't know what this is. They're basically engrams. You take them back to the gear identifier. It tells you what it is. You put on whatever is the strongest. You use the Transmog System to have whatever looks cool. You take the rest and you sell it all.
Sell it all. Don't be afraid to sell anything.
Sell everything. You don't need it. You have
whatever you're not wearing, sell it
immediately. Money is surprisingly hard to come by, and
once the room of requirement opens up and you're buying more things. Yeah, my money. I was like hoarding money, and then I got the room of requirement, and it was literally all gone, like immediately.
Bro, you go to Tomes and Scrolls once, your wallet's empty.
That is what happens.
You don't even mean to, because it's like you go to anywhere else. You go to J. Pippin's and get a few potions. You go in some battles. You'll still have some coinage left. You go to Tomes and Scrolls, broke.
I had to complete quests. I needed money, so I had to go out into the world and grind out money to be able to afford a large pot planting table, and
for Fluxweed.
Yep. Just to grow Fluxweed, and then the other, I had to get like a couple of angry plants to use as like my class assignment. Yeah. And I didn't have the money because it was like right after I unlocked the room requirement, and I went and spent all the money on stuff for the room requirement. So there I am.
Oh, it's fun how it works. But luckily, there's some little. Once you get the disillusionment spell, there's some disillusionment chests you can find, which basically are those chests that like lock itself down when it sees you. You just go invisible, go up to it, take it.
Yeah.
500 coins every time.
Yeah, those are good.
I swear, I've walked up on a pile of galleons and gotten 1 galleon, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah. The amount of times I'm like, ooh, money, yes, I need this right now. You go up to it, it's like 4. I'm like, what the?
4.
That's like finding a penny somewhere. It's not gonna get you anywhere.
That's I run by so much money because I'm like, it's probably gonna be nothing. One of the 2 big ones is you have the herbology table. Like we were saying, this is for sort of planting your own seeds and growing your own crops in a way. You'll get these right after you do herbology for the first time. You won't have the rumor requirement unlocked already until after herbology and potions class, or you might have it unlocked, but you won't have the whatever. So you'll be using the tables inside each respective classroom to brew your potions and grow your plants. Until then, you'll go to the room and grow whatever the fuck you want and never stop. One of those, we have Dittany seeds. These are used to make Wiggenweld potion, which Wiggenweld potion is the sort of like basic health potion in the game. Mallow sweet leaves are used to complete the Trials of Merlin. You have the more aggressive ones like the Chinese chomping cabbage, which you can send up to 3 of those out at a time, and they will just go and up to enemies and just start biting them, just causing damage over time. Mandrakes, they'll stun a bunch of enemies if you pull them out. It's a cool thing to do because everyone knows Mandrakes and it's just exciting. I don't really use them that often. Potions, these are like the fast ones you could do. I don't think any of them take more than a minute. I think minutes maybe the max.
For potion,
for potions, I think.
Potions, yeah, the plants take longer. Potions, from what I've done,
plants can take up to 15.
Yeah.
It could be a while. Like I said, Wiggenweld's basic health potion. Endurus sort of turns your whole body into like a stone. It's like higher defense. You won't get attacked as much or damage. Thunder Brew's really cool. It just basically spawns a thunderstorm above you, and lightning strikes come down and hit enemies and deal damage. It's just cool. Focus potions let you reduce the cooldown on spell casting. There's also like Maxima potions, which just you deal more damage. So many things to talk about, and I'm doing like the minimal version of coverage, and it's still 11 goddamn pages long.
Yeah,
We're on to transportation now.
This is more than just your average review. This is very much of a deep dive. So Dave covered everything.
All right, we're on to transportation now.
We are on transportation now.
Luckily, transportation is the second to last main page. Oh my god. I knew this was going to be about a 2-hour podcast episode.
Yeah,
review,
it's a long
video
one.
Bullshit. There's a lot to talk about. Hogwarts is massive. If you pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe Edition, you will have seen that you will get a Thestral mount skin. There are not only brooms, but different mounts that you can fly and ride in the game.
Is there a benefit to riding a mount over a broom? I haven't unlocked mounts yet.
The only benefit is probably role-playing and pride or something.
Okay, so
overall,
cool.
Gameplay benefits, not at all. You'd be much better, faster, maneuverable on a broom.
Okay.
You can't just easily get off in places as you would be able to. But it's a cool feeling. It's exciting.
Sure.
Once you do flight class, you'll end up unlocking broom, flight, and racing. I think it's Imelda Reyes you end up going against, and she loves racing against you. You'll do that. You can go to Albie Weeks at Spintwitches to upgrade your broom, get different designs and versions. There are some cool little collectibles for the broom specifically as you're going through the map. There are balloons that you can do there's like 5 balloons in like a line, and you just gotta run into them and pop them. You do those, you'll unlock more broom designs. There's landing pads strewn about. These are just random. All you gotta do is land on them. That's it.
Good job.
You done it. You touched
landed.
down. Now go do anything else. Your mounts are basically your beasts in the vivarium. Now you can't ride a mooncalf. You can't ride a puffskin. You can ride a thestral. You can ride a hippogriff. And the cool thing is that these specific creatures are also just going to be walking around in your vivarium. So I have the thestral from the Dark Arts pack, and I got 2 hippogriffs. One's called Caligo, and the other one's Highwing. Highwing's just a regular old white hippogriff, while Caligo is more of like a dark, like black feathered hippogriff with these gorgeous blue eyes. But I can just switch them out and make them my mounts, or I can just go hang out with them in my vivarium. And it's just cool.
And I assume since they're your mounts, they don't count as like... You were saying like you could have like 4 different species, and like it doesn't count towards that limit.
They do.
Oh.
But these specifically are the only ones that you can sort of actually ride or for transport or like use as a skin or texture or whatever.
Oh, okay. I think I see. Okay.
Yeah. So like you get them and they're there, but like obviously you could ride a hippogriff. Do you want it to look like Highwing? Do you want it to look like Sepulchria, the Thestral? Do you want it to look like Caligo, the Dark, whatever? You'll unlock very, very late in the game. You'll unlock ground mounts.
Oh, I've not
isn't
seen that.
Really. It's very late in the game. Almost like
too late.
It's like second to last main mission.
That okay.
It's very late.
Sure.
There's no real need. You're gonna be using your broom and like hippogriff the entire time. Well, I talked about a bit of it before. The graphics of this game, they're not amazing. There's a lot of pop in, but it's well, okay. I won't say that it's not amazing. It's not the best I've ever seen,
It's
but
not
there
hyper realistic. Like this is not The Last of Us
no
2. Like it's not.
no you like your characters. They'll look good, but it's mainly the environment. There are the times I'll be flying on my broom, or I'll walk into a classroom and I'll just stop. I'll look around. I'll be flying on my broom and I'll just hover. And I'll just be looking, almost no matter where I am at on the map, I can just look over and see the castle from where I am. I could be standing in Hogsmeade and just look down like one of the alleyways and I see one of the big spires from the castle and I'm just like, that's just so cool. Like I love that so much. And just the time of day, Dylan would probably be the happiest if it was daytime when this happened, but
Oh yeah, it's so much
when
better
you're at the
during
right
day.
angle, it's so much better during the day. When you're at the right angle, like as a huge fan, I just stopped and like this is what I've dreamed of, just being able to explore and see. And I'm just looking at it and I'm just like I'm like my inner child is healing as I'm doing this.
Yeah, I would agree that like the characters look fine. They're not anything
The
incredible.
characters are definitely nothing to write home about.
No, it's yeah, they exist. They don't look awful. They don't look incredible, but the environments are where the things and some of the level of detail, which I know maybe doesn't fall under graphics necessarily, but it kind of does. But it's still, like I said earlier, it's Hogwarts itself is where I'm the most impressed. Just from like the
Absolutely.
design of it to just every single room and the details within that room. It is very much so, especially like it's cool for me to see as like not the biggest Harry Potter fan, just at, just as a gamer and just like a very casual fan of it. But I can imagine for people that are like you, people that are really into Harry Potter and that world like really grew up with it in a way that I didn't. I could see this game like really being that thing that the fandom has been wanting.
And it so fucking is. This is what I dreamed of as a kid. It is so good. It just it feels so good to play, even in the combat, walking around the castle, going to classes, learning spells. Whenever you go to learn a new spell, you'll end up, this little silly quick time event, but you'll go and like follow the cursor in the like orientation of casting the spell.
Like,
And
I will
it's
never
so
complain about mini games.
yeah, it's and like I love that this game just, people complain about, oh, icons. It's just more to do. It's giving you so much content. You have so much you can do, and I'm 35 hours in, beat the main story while also doing a whole bunch of stuff in between, and I still am like a little more than halfway done with just my side quests. I have two huge I have both Poppy and Natty's companion quest lines left to do. I have a ridiculous amount of collectibles, etc., and basically that whole bottom Florida section to explore.
I think that is kind of the interesting thing about this game is that when it comes to the open world, and again, coming from a very casual Harry Potter fan, it's certainly nothing new, right? It's not even the newest iterations of open world games. It is like, yes, it is icons. That is what's happening. But the difference is, and I get a little bit of this, it's the world, right?
It's such
Yes,
a
this world
perfectly
has
realized world for the
right.
fans.
They have had video games, but nothing to this nothing to this extent, nothing with such a big vision and such
Nothing to the size.
freedom
The
to
ambition behind this project is clear.
Yeah, so I think that's what really is making it stand apart for a lot of people. Is it's the world, and this world has not had this.
No, not to this level and like it's deserved. And I'm so excited to see what's to come, either in DLC or like a 6-year off sequel. I don't like.
They're gonna do more with this based on how well it sold. Like this
it's
is not the
broken.
last of it.
We have some little tidbits later, but it's broken a few records.
Yeah, there's gonna be more.
I'm glad we ended up pushing the episode to record back a little bit, because I was like I said, I was up till 4 a.m. last night, but I've been spending the last week working on this doc. It's over 5,000 words. And I've been so passionate about this game and just excited as a fan that I can't stop typing. Like I'm not getting tired. I'm just watching this happen. And before we get to like some of the cool stuff, I just wanted to leave off with a conclusion that I ended up writing down. For me personally, Hogwarts Legacy does just an outstanding job in its execution of staying true to the source material while deviating to stay fresh. With such an expansive universe to work with, there is more than enough room for stories like Hogwarts Legacy to stand alone but fit in with the rest of the world. Mixing familiar faces, well-known names, and just as many new characters, Hogwarts Legacy has much to offer to fans of new and old. Its ability to translate the world into such an immersive sim is a fantastical feat that has me and many others wildly addicted to exploring every corner in search of all that there is to offer. For its own extensive attention to detail, playful combat system, and foundation to stand on its own without any mention of Harry Potter or Voldemort, makes Hogwarts Legacy a must for fans of the series in my opinion, and it is going to be getting a 9 from me.
That is pretty in line with most review scores. It has been getting highly reviewed.
I try to focus most of it's so hard to deviate my opinion from just that nostalgia and love for the universe that's already established. But as a game that is just so well connected, it's so good.
I mean,
it's so what I
listen,
want.
People complain all the time about like, oh, this is just playing off nostalgia. This is just this nostalgia. Nostalgia is powerful. It is so
disgustingly strong.
Yeah, if you grew up with something and they just modernize it, you will so easily overlook the flaws of it and just be like, no, I don't care. This is what I grew up with. I don't care.
This makes me happy. I know this. Like that's
Yeah.
all it is.
All right, we have some write-ins.
We did.
Some friends.
my good old buddy Dano Marte from Twitter. How you doing, bud? I miss ya. He goes, Hogwarts Legacy is so much fun. The combat is very polished. Oh god, I've known Dan for so long. He is always one of those where it's like I never fully expected him, but he's also a huge Harry Potter fan and like has watched this series over and over a lot. And I had a feeling that he'd be getting excited for this one, but it's you're right. You're right.
We also got from on Twitter again, at A Random Gamers Co., which is Alejandro from A Random Gamers Corner podcast. Go check out their show. But he wrote in, does the game do a good job in separating itself from the movies/books by making sure to focus on its own story and not follow too many familiar story beats? I know, Dave, you kind of touched upon this at the end there, but
yeah,
it definitely, like, it's that world, right? So like you're running into Weasleys, like that's happening. There's the whole Mandrake in class thing, like those things are happening. But from what I've seen, it does its own thing.
It does. Like the cool thing is like for me personally, the way I look at it is you have Harry Potter, you have all the movies, all the books, all of its lore. So much of it besides what is just the time that Harry was born to the time that Voldemort dies, from what is that, 1980 to 1997. You have just that being the main focus with hundreds of years of like pre-established lore behind it. And so we know that there is a huge ancestry of the Black family, and it just so happens that one of them is the headmaster during this time. Like it stands out on its own while having so many parts of the lore that is not like they're not doing the Charizard of Gen 1 Pokemon and just using it every single second. This game doesn't use Voldemort or Harry Potter, and it doesn't need to, because it has its own villains. They're doing their own things. Bad wizards are going to be bad. This huge family, and I'm going off on a tangent here, but as someone who has soaked up so much lore, I want more. I want a more realized version of that lore. So you're telling me something, but this game is giving it to me. And I
Yeah.
think that's so exciting.
I think it does a good job of, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you will recognize a lot of the things, or a lot of names, perhaps a lot of
Mhm.
details. But if you're coming into this not either being very casual, or just like, oh, you've seen the movies, like me, I've seen the movies, like the whole set once in my life, I am enjoying it just fine. Like, you don't need to go in with all this knowledge. It
No.
could live on its own, really.
And even if you're like a very casual fan, while this game does take place, like let's say 100 years before Harry Potter, you know some of the ghosts. Nearly Headless Nick's in the game. You could just go see him.
Yeah.
He is a character. There's a whole bunch of family members and just other people, well known places, and more so places than characters. But they're still there, and it's a really cool thing. It's like there's something for everybody throughout.
Yeah, I think they struck that balance pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's like you can't really beat how amazing Voldemort is, or especially how he's portrayed in the movies. I fucking love his character arc and everything. It's sort of like the Handsome Jack. You can't beat Handsome Jack. You reached peak. Like, you've done it. It's unfortunate you did it so early, but you did it.
All right. Thank you for writing in. You could always just add us on any social media, or weekly we'll be putting out posts asking you specifically for questions or thoughts around a specific game, whatever we're talking about. So always feel free to write into us. We will do our best to answer everything or get everything on the show that we can.
Also with that, we have some fun little news and little trivia that we got. Not only reaching some records on Steam, I think one of the most prominent ones is the fact that Hogwarts Legacy quickly became the highest concurrently viewed single-player game on Twitch, with a total of 1.28 million viewers. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, there were certainly a lot of, like, Harry Potter being as big as it is, a lot of hype surrounding this game, and then also what we addressed at the beginning, the kind of the controversy surrounding this game. This game was, and still is, really a very big talking point for the gaming community, especially on social media.
Will be. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that that happened.
I mean, even on Twitch, Steam. I mean, I think it's holds third place for most concurrent players at once, just being beaten by Elden Ring.
Yeah, so those are that. A lot of people are playing this game.
And it makes sense, and I can't stop playing it. And I've already made I got to figure out who my Slytherin and my Gryffindor characters are going to be, because I just know I want to do it. If they haven't mentioned anything, there was a little article recently that mentioned an interview, and they said specifically that there's no current plans for DLC. This game will more than likely have DLC. There's so many ways about it that you can do that, with either new cosmetics or side quests, etc. Blah blah blah. But based off some rumors and in-game notes and stuff that you can find, to which Quidditch isn't in the game. We didn't mention it earlier. Professor or Headmaster Black had basically canceled it for the year because a student last year got hurt and people got upset. Blah 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 blah. So he's like, no Quidditch. But there's been a lot of dialogue talking to professors and notes sitting around and being like, oh, maybe it feels like it's a good thing to assume that it might be a focus of a DLC coming soon.
Should be. That old Quidditch game on the PS2 is fun.
I don't know how well it would be formatted in the game, especially because of how the broom flight works in general, and with how fast you can go and how small the Quidditch pitch is overall. It's tough.
Yeah.
But still cool. There's still so many other things, like take me to some of these other schools, bring me to some other locations. Bring me to the future. I don't know. Show me something else.
Bring me to the future.
let me hang out with Nicholas Flamel. I mean, it's the 1880s. Albus Dumbledore's alive. Yes, he should be. Gellert Grindelwald should be alive, and they're doing stuff. Like, there's
Sure,
other
yeah.
things that can be done.
All right. We also ran a poll on the social medias. You can look out for those every week. We'll always run a poll related to the episode. So we asked what house everyone went with in Hogwarts Legacy. The
And
most.
There's only one right answer.
Well, you won't be happy. Most people went with Ravenclaw. 35% of voters.
You guys
are
got the least content. Why would you do this?
Followed closely behind 30% of our listeners are in House Slytherin. That came in at number 2. Number
Evil.
3 with 25% of our listeners was Hufflepuff, and at the
Loyal.
bottom with only 10% of our listeners was Gryffindor.
Only so many of us are brave.
Only so many of us are brave, and to be, I like. Listen, it's kind of like it's like the boring one, right? Like that's everyone in Harry Potter was like they were all Gryffindors. It's the boring.
Yeah.
One. It will be a little different.
You know what the only annoying thing is? It's like both Slytherin and Hufflepuff just have like really cringe ways to enter their common rooms. Do you remember the way to enter the Hufflepuff one?
Yeah, don't you have to like hit wood boards in a certain order or something?
You have to hit the middle barrel of the triangle. You have to hit it. You have to knock on it in the form of Helga Hufflepuff. You knock in the like 1 2 1 2 3 in that sort of form. Otherwise, Slytherin, you go there and you just gotta walk in front of them. You gotta go aspirations.
That's
and then
lame.
It's so lame. But like the Helga, that one's not great either.
No, that's not. But just walking up aspirations.
And like for Slytherin, really?
Yeah, that's lame. Come on, Slytherin. I expect better.
But interestingly enough, I want to say it's because we've already seen so much of Slytherin and Gryffindor. It's like we want to see the other stuff. Like I've always
I think that's what it
loved
is.
being
Yeah.
a Hufflepuff, but it's like my second character is Ravenclaw. Like no question.
All right. Notable game releases. There's a lot coming out this week.
There is, and very excitedly, my next one I'll be talking about will be Atomic Heart. I am so hyped for this one. It's going to be hard to find the time between doing this and going back and forth, doing more collectibles in Hogwarts Legacy, but releasing on February 21st, 2023 on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. This will be on Game Pass day one.
Thank you, Game Pass.
Thank you.
Also on the 21st is going to be Like a Dragon Ishin, which will be my next episode in a couple of weeks. Coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and S, Xbox One, and PC.
For anyone who cares, does not have an Oculus, and has the money, the PSVR 2 with Horizon Call of the Mountain will be releasing on February 22nd. It's stupid, but for PS5 and for PSVR 2. There's a bunch of other games. If you care, then you are already looking into buying a PSVR 2. Otherwise, there's no point.
It's people that have that got their hands on a PSVR 2 are saying good things about it, but I can't.
That's to be expected. I can't
justify
no.
that price tag and like it. Maybe if you don't have any VR and you're a big PlayStation fan and then sure. Like I'm sure it is a great headset, but I just already having a Quest 2, I can't justify the money spent on that.
Especially like none of the games, not even Call of the Mountain, from what I've seen gameplay wise, because I hate the thing that basically the one thing that every VR game has is climbing, because it's the one thing that you can do.
Yeah.
They showed so much climbing. I'm like, yeah, no shit. There's climbing in every fucking VR game, but there's nothing a single one of these VR games that they've shown off is like that is warranting me to spend $500 extra.
No, I don't think VR as a whole is like. I understand the tech is expensive, but I don't know if there's many VR experiences, like new ones coming out that really justify that right now. Right now, it's a lot of iterating on what's already there. VR needs to take that next step still.
It do.
February 23rd is going to be Sons of the Forest coming out in early access on PC, which I remember that article came out. I think it was on IGN. All about how like the crazy AI in Sons of the Forest and how that is like that
Yeah,
excites me.
I want to try. I still want to play The Forest. February 24th, 2023, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is coming out on Switch. And I'm going to take the last one because I'm excited for it. Octopath Traveler 2 is coming out the same day on Switch. I want this one so much more. I'm excited for Octopath.
I don't think I'm going to get this one.
I will. I didn't beat the first one, but I knew I had a good enough time. I have a feeling I could beat this one. And I love those kind of games. Eastward, Octopath, Sea of Stars is going to be coming out. I'm hyped for that.
They're very pretty.
They just are, and like they got that OG Game Boy feel, and I want them.
All right, that'll cap us off. This might be the deepest dive review. Going over all the different systems, the spells, how they work. I think I feel confident putting that crown on your head, Dave, that this is the deepest review you will find out there of Hogwarts Legacy.
Here's a pleasant surprise.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
there it
fucking deep, all right.
Join us next week. Lyle will be back and taking us on her journey through Blanc. Week after that, Like a Dragon Ishin, and then on March 14th, Atomic Heart. So fun stuff coming up. We hope you're liking the new format. Hope you're liking the video. Honestly, the gameplay video, I don't know if I caught enough footage for this whole episode, so it probably looped at some point.
Go get some. Go quickly get an hour of room flight and just go do it.
Probably won't have time for that, but we'll see.
Stoicals.
We'll see about that. I probably won't have time for that before this episode comes out. But thank you, everyone, for those that sat through this hell of a review.
This was something, all right. But we can.
Yeah.
I can turn the final page.
Yeah, I don't think most episodes will be this long because most games don't have so many different systems within them. So yeah, thanks for everyone who went on this long journey with us. We'll see you next week. Bye, Dave.
Goodbye, Dave.